That have been bad. Okay, now we are recording. Awesome. Okay, guys. So this is week 4, technically week 5, but because I was in Punta Cana that one week, we kind of had like an extra week in there for this group. So the main objective. I'm gonna mute here so we can see here. There we go. The main objective for like this past 4-week elite coach mentorship training was really to work hands-on, with coaches who were 100% committed to their business. And I have to hand it to those of you coaches who have made it a commitment to show up on these calls consistently. I know that it's hard sometimes with, schedules and work and things like that. And not everybody can tune in live, but for those of you who are, making the commitment and doing whatever it takes to get on the live calls, I commend you, just because I can remember, when I was first, learning this business and joining, training calls like this with my upline sponsors, I did whatever it took because I wanted to learn and I wanted to just be an open book, and I wanted to just know the kind of commitment level that it took to be a full-time coach. Even though at the time I wasn't a full-time coach, I still had a full-time job, and I still had other, commitments around me that, had every possibility to hold me back and not allow me to just go for it, So kudos to you guys for making the commitment and being here and learning. I think it's gone incredibly well. I've seen so much growth just from new coaches, from coaches who have recommitted to their business in this elite coach mentorship, just applying the things that we've kind of taught in here. So you should be really proud of yourself. I spoke earlier on our success club, our success, I forget what I was calling it, but I hosted a call for coaches who were either in Success Club 1, 2, 3, or 4 and didn't quite get over the Success Club line. And honestly, it is those small, consistent steps that are just helping us as coaches get on the board at all, whether we get in Success Club or not. So I just want to, kind of honestly beat the drum on 2 things as we wrap up this elite coach mentorship. Number 1, consistency. So I think more so than anybody, within this team and on this call, if you've been around for the whole training, that I talk about consistency all the time, and it's consistency in the basics. So consistency in our vital behaviors, the consistency in our Fantastic Four. I just did a call for a handful of coaches that are not on our team that I actually met in Punta Cana. They knew me. This is a very humbling experience, but they knew me because I had spoke at a Super Saturday years ago, at least 3 or 4 years ago. And they remembered the words that I spoke, and it stuck with them 4 years later. And I just happened to run into them at the Success Club trip, and they came up to me like, "You're Liz Bellini." And it was like a rock star moment. Honestly, I felt like a celebrity. And I was like, what did I do? I seriously thought I did something wrong. But they were like, we remember seeing you speak at a Super Saturday in Cleveland, and you said, this, and this, and it's just stuck with me in my business. And they wanted a picture with me and everything. And I was just like, wow, I had no idea I had that kind of impact. But the truth of the matter is, it was just consistency that I did over time. And when I think back, 4 years ago, when I was a beginner coach and really just, starting to really learn what the consistency was all about, I focused on the right activities that were going to reap the right results. And honestly, when it comes down to it, you guys, it's inviting, it's reaching out, broadening your network, and keeping track of those things. And I know that just recently with all the talk around like donut invites and mass invitations and really pushing hard for our business from now until Coach Summit, that it can force you to be pushed outside of your comfort zones, because reaching people on a high level means that you have to find more people. And I know more than anybody that can be a stressful situation when you're like, I don't know where to find more people. And how am I supposed to get all these mass invites out if I don't know where to find more people? But to be honest, if you are just consistent with keeping your eyes open in all the areas that you're at on social media, the mom groups, even your own Facebook friend list, to be honest. You might think that you've tapped out completely in your Facebook friend list, but you have to ask yourself, did I really reach out to every single person that I could have on my Facebook friend list? Some people, especially guys, obviously you're not going to reach out to. I mean, I don't know if that's your thing. At least for me, I don't reach out to guys just because I don't work with guys. I try to stick with my niche, the women, the moms, and people that I can relate to. But there are so many different hidden pockets of areas where you can just find to connect with people. So number one, consistency. Number two, finishing strong. Okay, we are early in the month of May right now. Okay, we're only in the second full week of May. So we have 3 full weeks really left of the month of May. And now, honestly, is the time to think that next week is like the last week of May. If you can somehow in your head convince yourself that next week is May 31st and you only have 7 days to hit Success Club, think about how you feverishly are inviting and following up and working to brainstorm on reaching more people when you only have 7 days to hit Success Club. You know what I mean? Do you work the same way in the beginning of the month that you work at the end of the month? Like, that's something to kind of, think about yourself on, because I can promise you, as I know this is true for me too, I find myself, towards the end of the month doing more, being more feverish in my invites, more feverish in my follow-ups at the end of the month, because, I want to finish strong. But if we kind of flip that script and change the mindset to finishing this week strong, like, how can I finish this week strong, and challenge ourselves and set the bar higher for us, how much more people we could reach. You know what I mean? So adopting that finish strong mentality, not just for the end of the month, but maybe for the end of the week, or the end of the day even. Like, what could I do more? What can I do more? I always have this saying right here on my desk. It says, "What did I do today to push me closer to my goals?" It's been up there for as long as I can remember. And I seriously am always asking myself, what more could I do? How could I, push my business just that much further? So what I want to know, really, since this is like our last call, where we'll go from here, I'll kind of map that out in the Elite Coach Mentorship page. But what I want to know is your guys' takeaway, because I've seen all of you, every one of you on this call right now, kind of grow and have some aha moments, step out of some comfort zones. What are some things that you've learned just in the past 4 weeks that you are going to continue with, and maybe what's something that you have learned in this group that you have not yet applied that you need to do? Okay, so I want you guys to talk, because I want to hear. So who's gonna go first? Jen?
Yeah. Hey.
Huh?
Y'all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Ashley and Lisa, I have been, Margie, sorry. I've been coaching since last July, and I haven't looked back, love it. But there was one thing that I did not do consistently that I should have been. And me and Liz talked about this probably, I don't know, a month or two ago. And I felt like I wasn't communicating properly with people I was reaching out to. And so I sent her several messages I had going back and forth with with people. And she immediately stopped me and said that I was not following the script, which I thought I was putting my own spin on it, but I was taking bits and pieces here, there, and everywhere. I wasn't, starting from the beginning and working my way down. For me, that has been the best piece of advice that I've heard in 2 months. Not that Liz doesn't, I always get great advice from her, but the biggest thing for me, and I felt like it has pushed me, pushed my business forward, is really following that script. You may think you are, but you probably need to look back at your communication with your people and really ask yourself, are you following it? So for me, it's made things much easier because you know what to say next, and you know how to shift that conversation. So for me, that's been my biggest takeaway, and that is one thing I would say to you guys too, is to definitely just follow the script. It's magic.
Yeah, I can remember that. I remember when you were struggling and I was like, something's not right. Something's not clicking. And I'm like, you know what? Send me some of your conversations with people. And immediately upon reading some of those, I was like, I go, this is right where we're going to tweak it. And she's going to see some changes. And you have, like,
definitely.
You hit what, Success Club 12 last month?
I think it was 10.
10? Still, I mean, that's amazing, and honestly, like you dealt with some personal things too along that time, because you had your surgery where you had the skin removed from your chest, and that didn't allow you to stay on your regular workout routine, which that's a big part of your life. So it affected you in that way. And you kind of had, like, which I will say this, from now until the end of time, this business is built on hills and valleys. Okay. It's like the business goes like this. You know what I mean? It's built on hills and valleys. You have your highs, and then you have your lows, and then you have your highs, and then your lows, and then your highs, and then your lows. Typically when you think of growing a business, you think, okay, I start here and I need to be doing this, right? We see the charts and we're like, this is how my business should look. I should be, excelling. I should be on the upswing all the time. Not the case with Beachbody or this type of business model. It really isn't. It's, if you've ever read the book called The Dip, I think it's called, by Seth Godin. He talks about this, the dip, because it's the highs and the lows. And when we're in the low, we have to understand that that's where we're supposed to be, because it's a part of the plan. And we have to know that even though we're in a low, guess what's coming next? A high. So you have faith that, in the low, there's going to be a high. So, maintaining that consistency throughout the highs and the lows is really the ticket. And I feel like that's exactly, what you did during that time. So I want to just kind of point that out to you, just kind of give you a high five on that. But you were also willing to take a look at what you were doing and realize that something wasn't clicking, and humble enough to say, okay, coach me, let me be coachable, because you thought you were doing it. You could have easily said, I'm following the script. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, but you didn't. And you were humble enough to say, I can do better. I can learn. And you did. And it's proving. Did you say you had a call with a coach today?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you're moving forward, and you've got great leads, and you're moving forward. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jennifer. Who wants to go next? Ashley, you're smiling, so I'm going to.
Yeah, I'll go. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. It's just us.
I just want to say that the support on this team has been awesome. Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time.
My family has gone through a tough time this past year. And it's just been awesome just being able to be around like positive people. My sister just found out she has Crohn's, and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis a year and a half ago. So the support has been awesome. I was reading one of Jessica's posts on her one of her groups she was starting, and this lady was giving her a hard time, and I just thought it was really cool how all of you stepped in to like support her. But yeah, the things I need to work on are definitely consistency, and like sending out more invites. And then, yeah, just following the script. That's a hard thing. But yeah, the support has been awesome. I love how it's a positive thing. And yeah, sorry, I forgot all of what I was going to say because
That's okay. That's all right. I'm proud of you because, this is something that is totally out of your comfort zone. Totally out of your comfort zone. You stepped up and stepped out when you decided to be a coach. And just, I can remember when we talked on our Getting Started Right call that, this was all new territory for you. But what I loved was that you were willing to take it head on. You're like, I see the opportunity here and I want to do better. And I have to tell you that, I remember you were very hesitant to post on Facebook about your journey. And I suggested that you create the Facebook album and just, I think I kind of tricked you because I said, just post the pictures for your own accountability. And then it'll just be like, you're putting pictures in your own album. And you were like, yeah. You really hook, line, and sinkered on that. And I was like, okay. It was almost like you weren't going to be posting on Facebook. It was almost like you were just going to be putting your own pictures in an album and nobody else was going to see it.
Yeah.
But obviously people see it and your posts are amazing. Like you have a gift of sharing your story and being authentically you. And honestly, that's what people love to see, and honestly, you are consistent in that area because I see your posts all the time and I see your consistency in your own health and fitness. And that is the cornerstone of this business. The only way coaches are successful is if we're doing this and we're walking the walk and we're talking the talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So feel good about that consistency. There's so many different types of consistency that can lead to a successful coach. One of them is the one that you're doing right now, very consistently, like awesomely consistent. So you've realized that you want to be more consistent on the inviting and reaching outside, which is awesome too, because you know where you need to improve. Now you just need to do it. So I wish I could just hug you like through this computer screen. This is me giving you a hug.
Thank you.
I know what it's like to go through hard life things with families and things like that. In fact, a lot of us on this team know what it's like. And I can speak probably for everyone on this call and everyone on this team that this team, this support system is honestly the one constant that that kind of is the calm throughout the storm around, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing, because that's one thing that we know that we can always count on when, life around us goes out of control. You know what I mean? We can't so much control certain life circumstances. You know what I mean? They're beyond our control. All we can do is figure out what we can control. And what we can control is our daily choices, you know, and our daily choices can either be, you know, okay, I'm going through a hard life thing right now, and it might be really bad, but I still have a choice. I can choose to, you know, let it control me and stop me. And I can, you know, sulk in it, or I can still sulk and be upset, but I could also still do my workout. I can also still do my personal development. I can also still reach out to my coach or talk to a close coach friend on the team who understands me more than maybe anybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we've kind of created within this team. So as you guys continue to move forward in your businesses and you continue to, you know, dodge life circumstances, you can create the same kind of culture around your own teams that you will build. You know, maybe you don't have a team of coaches yet, but you have a network of people around you who do follow you and who are connected with you. And maybe you have one or two challengers, or maybe one or two potential challengers that you can start to create that culture with. And I guarantee you, when you put that best foot forward, you create that support system, you know, the one that you're talking about, Ashley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. Thank you so much for just being vulnerable and sharing, because, you know, we're a family, and honestly, that brought the five of us that much closer together. It really did. So I'm excited for you to get your mom signed up, because that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you know what program she's going to do?
The 21-day fix.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
She's excited. So.
Aw, I love that. Okay. Let's see here. I see Margie said something. She's in the bathtub. Oh, that is the best. Okay, so Margie's in the bathtub. Don't judge. I have to take Wyatt to the doctor soon. For me, it's more invites and following the script. A lot of people reach out to me, and I need to get better at reaching out. Okay, cool. So I'm still laughing about the bathtub. Margie is somebody else who definitely, I mean, honestly, if you want to talk to somebody who's been through a lot in the last year, Margie is definitely somebody who has definitely experienced the dip and sat there for a while, but now is like at the top of the mountain right now. She has turned her health around with 22-minute hardcore, and I think she's doing 21-day fix extreme right now, and she's getting results, and she has a whole new perspective on life, and now she's kind of turned it around and translated that into her coaching business. And while she might not have signed anybody up yet, she is making connections. She's putting herself out there, and that's the seed planning that I'm talking about. You know, the seed planning that it's the work that you put in that doesn't exactly reap a return right away that you can physically see, but it doesn't mean it's not working. It's like when you plant a seed in the ground, like a farmer. I mean, how long does it take for that seed to finally sprout? But that doesn't mean the farmer plants the seed and then walks away and just waits for it to grow, right? The farmer, you know, makes sure that that his fields are watered. He makes sure that fertilizer is put on his field. He makes sure that his fields are nurtured so that the soil stays, you know, good, so that his seeds grow. And that's exactly what you guys are doing when you're reaching out to people and you're making a connection, and you're broadening your network, and you're spreading inspiration and motivation in your Facebook posts. It doesn't exactly reap immediate return, but it is working. You know, it's like, you know, kind of like the, you know, lead by faith and not by sight kind of thing. That's exactly what it is. So, and Margie's a great example of that. So Margie, I mean, we've talked a lot about doing like those donut invites. And the script that I shared with you, I mean, what I would do if I were you, I would work really hard on broadening your network, adding to your network, and sending as many of those donut scripts out that you can to new prospects, to people who are already on your Facebook, however you're reaching people, whether it's in mom groups or wherever. Okay. I think you just sent me a message on Facebook, and I was getting ready to log on here and I didn't have a chance to read it, but let me check it really quick. So maybe I can answer it while I'm on here for you. Okay, Margie, she's asking if there's a list of Shakeology ingredients. Okay, so on your Shakeology website, so if you just go to, do you know your Shakeology website? Mine is shakeology.com/Liz Bellini. It's the same one as our beachbodycoach.com website. But you know what? I think if you even go to Google and type in Shakeology ingredients, yeah. Okay. So if you just type in Shakeology ingredients on Google, and if you go to images, there's like nutrition labels galore, probably for all the different flavors. And there's ingredient lists. So, but just to also let you know, if you do go to your Shakeology website, your shakeology.com/Margie David or whatever your extension is, on that page, there is, I think, a button that says FAQ, I think, and it will show you the Shakeology ingredients right there. They're somewhere on your Shakeology website. So I hope that helped. Are you still in the bathtub? Give me a thumbs up on the chat session and let me know that made sense, just so I know you got that information. Otherwise, I won't reply back to your message. Okay, awesome. Lisa?
I'll go. I really need to work on following up. Like, I feel like I suck at it really bad. Since the donut invite, I'm getting more comfortable sending those out, and it was really hard for me to send them out this morning. I don't know, maybe just because I haven't gotten any bites back on it or what. I did follow up with what you suggested on the first set of donuts, and again, I got absolutely nothing. And it's just hard for me to follow up. I'm getting more comfortable with inviting, but I don't know. I don't know if it's my wording or what. And I know with what Jen said, I do need to go back and look at the challenge group script because I don't think I'm following that to a T. But when I read it, to me, it sounds like it's replying to someone who reaches out to you about it. But I'm actually reaching out to them. So it seems kind of backwards, if that makes sense. And when I'm reaching out to a new person, I never know when to bring like health and fitness up in a conversation. And so I guess that would go with form, and that's where I'm stuck at.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there's a lot in there that I can elaborate on. So the first part is, you're having a hard time with the donut invites. Are you having a hard time with the donut invites because you don't have people to reach out to, or it's a hard thing for you to do because it's a hard thing for you to do? Can you clarify on that?
I guess it's just hard for me because it's out of my comfort zone, but I'm getting more comfortable with doing that part. But like you said, I don't have anybody reaching out to me.
Mm-hmm. But like after
like
you
I don't like just throwing health and
I think there's a delay. I think there's a delay.
I think so too.
So do you mean that nobody's reaching out to you? You mean after you send the donut invite? Is that what you mean?
Before or after. Like I don't have like when I post about, whether it's a free group or a challenge group, I have to go out and send invites. People will like the post or whatnot, but they don't actually reach out to me. And then I'm like, well, ugh, I got to reach out to these. And that's where, you know, it gets hard for me, because just because someone likes what I'm doing doesn't mean that it's for them.
Right.
And that's where, like, I don't want to just shove, hey, this is what I'm doing, you need to be doing, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. What I hear is, honestly, if I'm being honest, I hear you getting in your own way a little bit. I totally understand that it's out of a comfort zone to reach out to somebody, but I'll be honest to you, probably 80 to 90% of the challengers that I get on board are people that I reach out to and that I invite. Yes, I do have a handful of people that reach out to me first, but unlikely, you know. I have a different situation. I have a different situation that's different than yours. I built up a Facebook like page, so I'm able to run a Facebook ad and have a call to action post, and several people commenting that they want more information. That, for me, that is something that I've worked to grow. Okay. That is kind of like a long-term thing. But when I was like a new coach in your position, I didn't have that. So I had to do what you're doing right now and really step out of some comfort zones and message people that like my posts, people that I'm friends with that, I don't know, may or may not seem like somebody that would want to hear about it. But the key is that if you use, you know, one of the invites that I've given, where you're genuinely just leading with your heart, just genuinely letting somebody know that, hey, I'm starting, you know, my beach and summer challenge group, and I thought of you. I'm really excited about this, and I was wondering if you wanted to hear more about that. That's an example of a direct invite that then, if they, you know, reply back, you can dive right into the challenge group script and go from there. Now, we've had this conversation before, because you said you were having you know, trouble with follow-ups, and I posted the follow-up script that Carl Deichler posted, you know, specifically about people who you reach out to and maybe they don't reply back. And he gives an example of a follow-up that you can send to people, just kind of, hey, did you get my message? And whatever else he wrote. I thought it was really well written, what he wrote out. And honestly, that's all you can do. I say one follow-up to those people who don't reply back to you is enough, and then you need to move on. Now, I know there was some confusion between you and I, because I'm on a different, you know, my coaching story is a little different than yours. You know, I'm on a different level than you are right now. If people don't reply back to my direct invites like that, I don't even bother going back to them, at least not right away, because I have enough people in my pipeline that I am following up with that I really don't need to, you know. Now, in your case, as a newer coach who's just signed up recently, it would be in your best interest to send that follow-up message just to see if you can get another bite, you know, because you're just building your network. Your network isn't as big as mine. You know, you're comparing 6 years of experience to 6 months of experience. Do you see what I mean? So not that I'm better or worse, you know, than you are. It's just that I've just been here longer and doing this longer and more consistently than you. That's the only difference. And I've spent time working on my skill. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. So you have to take the information and the training that you get with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? Because certain types of training and certain types of ways that people are messaging and following up might work for one coach, but doesn't work great for another. You are on a trial base kind of right now. You have to fail forward. You have to try and see what will work for you and what doesn't, and keep what does and trash what doesn't and try something else. I promise you that is just the series of events of my past 6 years of coaching. It's a series of trying and failing and succeeding, trying, failing, succeeding, trying, failing, succeeding, in that order probably, because you have to try in order to even put yourself out there. And then you have to fail to learn to see what works and what doesn't work. And then once you find out what works and what doesn't work and you do what works, then you succeed. You know what I mean? It's like that jagged thing. Like success doesn't look like this. Success looks like this, and you go in all these different areas until you find success. You know what I mean? So, I guess I'm going to step down off of my soapbox on that one. What was the last thing that you were saying? I feel like there was one other thing that I could have touched base on.
The form part, like I don't have a problem reaching out, you're with your, like, hey, how are you? I'm so, and this, other, but I have a hard time bringing up fitness and, all this into it, not directly saying I'm a Beachbody coach or anything like that, but, this is what I'm into. I want to share it with you kind of thing. I have a hard time with that.
Yes. That was definitely an area for me that was incredibly uncomfortable. I wanted to get past the little minor chit chat and I wanted to get right down to business. I was like, can we just talk about fitness already? Like that was really like my mindset, but I knew that, I couldn't do that without, jeopardizing a relationship. You know what I mean? So, I used form to a very minimal extent. I just, was just making a contact, minor chit chat, asking them about them. And then honestly, if it was a hard segue, then it was a hard segue because I was over the minor chit chat. And I just kind of segued it. And I said, and I would say something like, it's been really nice chatting with you, and compliment them, on something. And then I would say, something like, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I totally thought of you because you seem like somebody like me. And I don't know if this would be for you or not. I've had a lot of fun chatting with you, and I think you'd be a great fit for this, but I'm not sure, and it might not be for you. But I am hosting, blah, 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 and it, the script, that welcome script, so that you can segue right into what it is that you're offering. What is the worst that can happen? They say no. That's the worst that could happen, honestly. And maybe you'll get one really bad crab apple that goes off on a tangent, like, how dare you invite me to, whatever. I've never had that happen to me. Maybe once or twice. I think I had it happen to me one time when I was inviting somebody to check out my coaching opportunity. It was a fitness chick who I would always go to her local fitness classes, and I thought she would make an amazing coach. I mean, she was taking moves from P90X and using them in her class. And I recognized it because I've done P90X. So I was like, she's totally using P90X moves. And I asked her, I was like, are you P90X certified? And she's like, no. She's like, I just pull, different workouts from different at-home programs and use them in my classes. And I was like, no, okay, that makes sense. That's cool. Well, I thought she'd be a great candidate to be a coach. And I consistently invited her to my What is Coaching webinars, to check out the coaching opportunity. I think one time she would never answer me back, but I just kept inviting her because I thought, I'm just going to keep inviting her. And finally, I remember the message like it was yesterday because I invited her and she replied back finally, and it was N-O and like a bajillion exclamation points after it. And I was like, finally, she finally made a decision. I'll never forget. I remember sitting at my computer and I remember going, okay. Like, I was like, I don't know whether to be upset or laugh. And instead I just laughed. And I messaged back and I said, in capital letters, I messaged, fair enough, exclamation point, exclamation point. That was it. And I left it at that. And she's still friends with me on Facebook. I totally thought she would have unfriended me. She doesn't like my stuff though, but I guarantee you she watches my stuff because I'm a very successful Beachbody coach and she's still teaching classes 10 hours a day making peanuts. That's the truth. So I know she watches my stuff. Maybe she's just not ready yet. Maybe she, who knows? Maybe she'll never be ready. But if she is, hopefully she'll reach out to me. So anyway, that's my story. Okay. So the worst that can happen is they could say no in all caps and then you laugh and say, fair enough. And you move on. Right? You won't know whose life you can touch if you keep the information in your mouth. You know what I mean? Think of it this way. If the person who did not invite me to check out Beachbody, if they never spoke it or invited me to check out what it was that they were doing, I wouldn't be here right now. And everything that has come from coaching wouldn't be here right now. Ashley wouldn't be here. Margie wouldn't be here. Jen wouldn't be here. Lisa wouldn't be here. Can you imagine your life without any? I know I couldn't. I couldn't imagine not having Jennifer Doramus in my life. I couldn't imagine not having Ashley in my life. I couldn't imagine not having Margie or Lisa in my life. My life would be so empty. You know what I mean? So think about that when you hesitate to invite somebody that you think this opportunity would be perfect for, because you are holding their destiny in your mouth. Can you live with that? I know I couldn't, because we know what this opportunity can do and how it can change people's lives. So I'm going to end with that because I have another call in 15 minutes. But so what I want you guys to do, take a look at your first 30 checklist. Take a look at the rest of this month and kind of map out what your goal is for this month. And I want you to post it in the Elite Coach Mentorship page. And given the things that we just talked about, what we need to work on, what worked well for us and what we're going to continue working on, and how we're going to apply those things for the month of May. And we'll finish out the month of May in this Elite Coach Mentorship group, because also I want to know who in this group, number one, has completed the Coach Basics group, the Coach Basics training, and who's also completed the Business Starter training. Okay. So that's what I want to know, because from that point, then I'll know how I support you from here. Okay. Sound good? I know. I feel like you're all my sisters. I couldn't agree more, Lisa. This was a good call. So I'm going to let you guys go. If you have any questions, reach out to me personally. Other than that, we'll continue to finish this week out strong. Thursday, I'll be available for, one-on-one things. Again, if you guys want to take advantage of those. And I'll probably, for the rest of May, I'll probably continue. We probably won't have training calls on Tuesday, but I will do one-on-one Thursday if you guys want to do those collaborations and you need to talk some things out. So other than that, that's it. I'll let you guys go. Have a good rest of what's today? Tuesday? Tuesday. All right. Love you girls. We'll see you.